Happy New Year. Welcome to Somewhere in Metal. New year, new channel. Inspired to start my own channel by the likes of Darcy Six Strings Nine Lives, Rock and Metal Plus, Mr. Boulder, Marty Mack, to name but a few. This is the first video. I'm going to give you a quick update on my collection through December and Christmas. Mixture of things, a couple of CDs, the rest vinyl, mainly picked up from local record shops, some off Vinted, eBay, and Amazon, of course. So yeah, let's get to it. First up is a band from the US, part of the resurgence of thrash, probably 10 or 15 years ago. This is Bonded by Blood, Exiled to Earth. This is a Earache reissue from, I think it's 2010. I'll just show you the inside, which is pretty standard stuff. Lyric sheet on both sides, and on good old black vinyl, this one. Very strong album, very much in the vein of, you know, the first wave of thrash metal, Exodus, Overkill, bands like that. Machine gun riffing, very fast, great drumming, great musicianship all round, to be honest. Good vocals. You can't really catch your breath on it. It's full on for the whole album, but I'd certainly recommend it if you've not heard them. Favourite tracks for me, Episodes of Aggression, Prototype, Death Machine, and Exile to Earth, the title track. But they're all very strong. So yeah, absolutely. If you've not heard it, I'd definitely recommend picking that one up. Okay, onto the next one. This is a band, probably one of my favourite thrash bands actually. First album was absolutely killer. Very young band at the time, but watching one of the videos on, we used to watch a TV show actually in the UK back in the late 80s, early 90s called Raw Power. Used to be on in the middle of the night, and we used to get up in the morning and watch all the new videos as they came out. And this band, I'll show you the album now, but this is Death Angel, Frolic Through the Park. The song that I was referring to was Voracious Souls, which at the time for me was just an absolute brilliant song. And the album was, that, you know, the debut album was just something else. When this came along, this was completely different in style. And it does divide some opinion, but for me personally, when it came along, I loved it. It was very different to the thrash that I was listening to at the time. I was very much into Nuclear Assault and Metallica and Slayer and bands like that. And I just thought, for the age of the musicians, to have that kind of innovation and ideas, I just loved it. This is an OG copy picked up just after Christmas, when I was basically telling myself I wasn't going to buy any vinyl for a couple of weeks. Popped into my local store in Macclesfield in the UK, Vinyl Planet. They had an OG copy for a very good price, so I had to pick it up. Again, this is on black vinyl. This is 1988 Enigma Records. A lot of good tracks on here. The ones that absolutely stand out for me are Bored, Third Floor, and Why Do You Do This? All can listen to them, you know, all the time. Very good songs, and a really good album to boot. So yeah, very pleased to pick that one up. Next up, a band that you might not be familiar with. In the UK, there was a hardcore scene back in the late 80s and early 90s. This band was a local band to me, really, in the northwest of England, hailing from a town called Wigan and another town called Wallasey on the Wirral near Liverpool. Never got to see them. Never actually owned any hard copies of the records back in the day, but I was in Liverpool recently, popped into Probe Records, and saw this Jail Cell Recipes, Artifacts for an Empty Tank World. This is really a reissue. It's been a lot of hard work, I believe, getting this out by the band. It's a collection of tracks from the first album and 2 EPs, and also a couple of new tracks. But yeah, firstly, I wanted to get hold of it because I've not seen any Jail Cell Recipes vinyl in the wild. Fantastic price. I think I paid about £24 for this, which is fantastic. And if you look at the content of what you get with it, great poster, double-sided. You've got that on one side, and then on the other side you've got the advertisement for the album. Really good thick copy, just showing all pictures, interviews, flyers, just the whole history of the band, but really good quality, really well done. And then finally you've got the vinyl, which is in kind of a pearlescent with a tinge of grey and black in there as well. Yeah, totally recommend, if you've not heard these, which some of you may not have done, just jumping on one of the streaming sites, have a little listen. Really good. They did have moderate success back in the 80s and 90s with touring with bands like Bad Brains, Youth of Today, even Green Day. I read the other day that they actually toured with before they made it big. Some of the songs, there's lots of good songs on there. 3 that jump out are Recipes, Dreaming, and Part of Me. But yeah, really good value collection of early UK hardcore. Highly recommended. Okay, next up, a band that needs no introduction. This is Cavalera with the reworking of Schizophrenia, released by Nuclear Blast last year. I've also got the Morbid Visions one, which I absolutely love. This one is, yeah, it's got a 1-sheet inner with the band and the credits, lyrics on the other side. This one comes on transparent blue vinyl. I actually quite like it. Really nice vinyl this. And there's the other side. Really great, in my opinion. They've managed to maintain that darkness and brutality of the original, but they've just give it that polish and that meatiness, and it just makes for a very, very enjoyable listen. And yeah, hopefully, maybe they might do Beneath the Remains as well, which would be fantastic, even though that I'm not sure that actually needs doing as much, but it would be good to hear a reworking of it nevertheless. Favourite tracks for me on this, From the Past Come the Storms, Escape the Void, and Septic Schizo, to name but a few. But really, it's a fantastic album, start to finish. I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but yeah, highly recommended if you want to have a little different take on schizophrenia. Okay, next up is a band that I actually own. Before I bought this, I own nothing by them, to be honest. I stumbled across it in one of the record shops in Manchester, looked at it, had a little listen. It is black metal. I do have some black metal in my collection. Dark Throne is one of my favourite black metal bands. Emperor, I've got some of their material as well. But this is a band that I had heard of, and I just thought, yeah, sounds good. I do like prog as well, so there is some prog leanings here in terms of the song structures and the variety that you hear on the record. But the band is Enslaved, and this is their new album, Heimdall. Yeah, absolutely love this. Love the darkness of it. Love the artwork. And yeah, it's got everything really. It's got great harmonies, it's got those traditional black metal vocals, it's got clean vocals, it's got longer songs with lots of different elements to it, and yeah, absolutely love it. And looking for any recommendations on other Enslaved albums that I can pick up, or any other black metal bands that are of a similar style. I'll just show you the vinyl. The insides are just a gatefold lyric inner. I'll show you the first vinyl because the second vinyl is the same. Good old black vinyl. There you go. So yeah, a surprise for me really, but a good surprise, and hopefully I can start digging into some of the back catalogue and find some other nuggets in there to enjoy. Favourite tracks on the album are Congelia, Forest Dweller and The Eternal Sea. But to be honest, again, it's just a great listen start to finish. Lots of good songs, good structure of the album. It flows very well. Very, very technical and highly accomplished musicianship, which is great to hear. So yeah, really good. Next up, a band that I watched in Manchester about 5 years ago. I was persuaded by my good friend Neil to go along and watch them. At the time, I probably wasn't super into them. I went along nevertheless. We have to take one for the team sometimes. They were great, you know, wasn't a huge crowd, but super professional, really good songs, and a really enjoyable night. Didn't really touch them after that for a long time. In fact, probably until 12 months ago. This is Seven Dust and the new album Truth Killer, released last year. Really solid stuff. I've done a lot of listening through the back catalogue over the last 12 months. The early stuff is a little bit more raw and a bit more new metal. I think as they go through the catalogue, they're very consistent, but they also have more harmony, better strong structures, better production, and yeah, really enjoying it. I've not listened to them as much as I want to, so I need to look at that. I've got the little box set as well, the CD box set, which I'm going to dig into in 2025. I'll just show you the vinyl again. Good old black vinyl. There you go. And the actual album is a gatefold with the lyrics on the inside. Really great stuff. Something I'm really looking forward to digging into a bit more in 2025, and hopefully they may come to the UK again and I can watch them with a good knowledge of the music. Favourite tracks, Truth Killer, the title track, Everything, and Fence, which I think was the single. Okay, next up, another band that needs no introduction. Picked this up off Vinted actually. Just saw it as a CD. Expected a CD, but actually got a nice little package through. It's Overkill, the Electric Age. This is a limited edition CD box set with a DVD on there as well, with basically a documentary in the studio, the making of the album. I actually watched them on this tour in Manchester, and they were fantastic. Sorry, the CD's just dropped out. So yeah, so it's CD, DVD, and then in between, all the lyrics, credits, and some great photos of the band as well. Really nicely surprised to receive this. I was expecting just a normal dual case CD, but yeah, fantastic. Again, Overkill don't need any introduction. Still churning out fantastic music deep into the career, and hopefully get to see them again soon. Again, favourite tracks, Come and Get It, Electric Rattlesnake, and 21st Century Man. Again, with Overkill, the consistency on the albums is what it's all about, and I think a lot of the albums are good. Yes, they've got some standout tracks, but front to back, it's it's a really good listen. And again, if you've not got it, highly recommended. Just down to a couple of CDs now. This is a death metal band, a new death metal band that plays old school style. Again, for me, death metal is the stuff that I've got in my collection is obviously your Death, your Obituary, Morbid Angel. Frozen Soul is one that I picked up in the last 12 months as well. So I haven't got a lot of death metal, but I do listen out for something that just grabs me. And this band, absolutely. I think I watched it on one of the end of year tier lists and had a little listen and just straight away loved it. So this is 200 Stab Wounds. This is their first album, Slave to the Scalpel. I'll just show you the inside. There you go. And that's the back. Interesting thing about this, very short songs. By my standard anyway, I was surprised at how short the album was, but it's not a bad thing. The groove, the riffs are just fantastic, and they speed through the album, and it's just got memorable tunes, good hooks, vocals, yeah, obviously traditional death metal vocals, but just absolutely ferocious, and love it. I'm going to get the new album actually. I think it's I was going to try and pick it up this week, but I couldn't quite find it when I was in Manchester, but got this instead. Same vein, new album, slightly more polished, but very similar. And yeah, if you've not heard them, highly recommended. Okay, last one for this video is a band from Manchester actually, and this was a surprise addition to the Obituary bill in Manchester just before Christmas. Originally it was going to be Sadus. Very excited about watching Obituary and Sadus. Unfortunately, Sadus dropped off the bill, and these guys popped on the bill. This is a black metal band from Manchester called Winter Fireleth. Really, really good. Really impressed. Firstly, stepping in at such short notice, and the set was absolutely killer. This is their album, The Divination of Antiquity. Not the new album. Picked this up at the gig actually, and yeah, again, I've not got much black metal. This ticks my box really. Kind of symphonic death metal in a lot of ways. Love the fact that all their albums have pictures of the English countryside, which is absolutely beautiful. If you've not been here, highly recommended. Love having black metal attaching to that and just seeing the backdrops of all the places that I know in the northwest of England. Good album, very strong. This one's from 2014 on Candlelit Records. It's the 4th studio album. Favourite tracks, title track, A Careworn Heart and Over Borderlands are all killer tracks. Again, a very consistent album. If you've not checked them out, I'll just put it there. Highly recommended. Okay, great. Well, that brings that video to an end. Hopefully you liked it. If you've got any suggestions for things that you want on the channel, please let me know. Please comment if there are any thoughts on the albums that I've just discussed. And yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.